So if you're working in Canada, you know that feeling, that expiry date on your work permit is probably one of the most stressful dates on your entire calendar. Today, we're going to break down exactly how to extend it, step by step, and take some of that stress away. And that quote just hits home, doesn't it? I mean, this isn't just a piece of paper we're talking about. It's your job, your income, your whole life here. The pressure is absolutely immense, and even one tiny mistake can feel like it could throw everything off track. That's the million-dollar question, right? But here's the good news. If you know what you're doing and you time it right, you can get through this without all the drama. So let's figure out what that very first move needs to be. Okay, before we even think about filling out a single form, we have to talk about this one concept. Seriously, think of it as your safety net, your lifeline. Understanding this is the absolute key to making this entire process as stress-free as possible. So here's how it works, and it's pretty amazing. As long as you get that extension application submitted before your current permit expires, even if it's on the very last day, the law lets you keep working legally. You get to maintain your status while you wait for a decision, which, let's be honest, can sometimes take months. And the difference is just, well, it's that stark. It's night and day. Apply on time, you're protected, you keep working, you keep earning. But miss that deadline by even 24 hours, you legally have to stop working. Immediately. The stakes honestly couldn't be higher. To avoid any of that last-minute panic, the website crashing, a document not uploading, the official advice from Immigration, Refugees, and Citizenship Canada, or IRCC, is to give yourself a nice buffer. Do yourself a favor. Mark your calendar and get everything submitted at least 30 days before that deadline. That way, your maintained status is locked in with plenty of time to spare. All right, so we've got maintained status locked down. What's next? Well, your game plan for extending your permit really depends on what kind of work permit you have right now. The rules are definitely not one size fits all.
So if your permit is tied to one specific employer, what we call a closed work permit, you can't just apply on your own. Your employer has to get the ball rolling. This usually means they need to get a new labor market impact assessment, an LMIA, or they have to submit a new job offer through the IRCC employer portal and pay that compliance fee. Now, for those of you on a spousal permit, your eligibility is totally linked to your partner. You're going to need to prove that they still have valid status in Canada, say as a skilled worker or student, and you'll need documents like their recent pay stubs to show they're still employed.
The Bridging Open Work Permit. This one's super popular for anyone on the path to permanent residence, or PR. But timing is everything here. You can only apply for this after you've submitted your PR application, and you've gotten that official confirmation letter back, the one known as the Acknowledgement of Receipt, or AOR. Okay, let's just pull this all together. As you can see, those top 3 permits, totally extendable as long as you meet that key requirement. But look at that bottom row. This is so important. Post-graduation work permits, PGWPs, and International Experience Class, or IEC, permits, they're pretty much considered one-time deals. In almost all cases, you simply can't extend them. Okay, no matter what type of permit you have, there are a few universal rules of the road that apply to everybody, and getting these wrong can unfortunately sink a perfect application. All right, of all these rules, please pay extra attention to that first one. Your new work permit cannot, under any circumstances, be issued for longer than your passport is valid. So if your passport expires in 6 months, guess what? You're only getting a 6-month work permit, no matter what you actually qualify for. So make sure you renew your passport before you apply for your work permit. This is absolutely crucial. So, you know your permit type, you've double-checked the core rules, now it's time for the practical stuff. Let's actually walk through the application process. Here's your 5-step map to get it done. See, it all starts with prep, getting those numbers from your employer, making sure that passport has plenty of life left in it. From there, you just hop online to your IRCC account, you upload your documents, and then, this is it, the final most important step. You hit that submit button and pay the fees before that ticking clock runs out. And hey, here's a little pro tip for you. The second you submit, that confirmation page that pops up, that is your golden ticket. Screenshot it, save it as a PDF, print it out, whatever you have to do. It is the official proof you can show your employer that says, hey, I'm on maintained status and I can legally keep working. Let's talk about the cost. For a pretty standard extension, the main fee is $155. Now, if you're applying for an open work permit like a spousal or a bridging permit, you also have to add on the $100 open work permit holder fee. So that brings your grand total to $255.
We've covered all the things you should do, but it's just as important to talk about what not to do. So let's look at some of the most common and, frankly, damaging mistakes that people make. We've talked a lot about maintain status. Well, the opposite of that is something called restoration. This is what you have to apply for if you miss the deadline. You get 90 days to try and restore your status, but, and here is the really painful part, you cannot work during that entire processing time. You literally have to stop your job and just wait, which can be financially devastating. This is a question that comes up constantly. Your application is in, you're on maintain status, everything's good, and you think, hey, maybe I'll take a quick trip back home. Seems harmless, right? Wrong. It's not harmless at all. In fact, this is a massive trap. The second you leave Canada, you give up your maintain status. Poof, it's gone. You can probably get back into the country as a visitor, but you lose your legal right to work. You would have to wait, unemployed, until your extension is officially approved. So the advice here is crystal clear. Do not travel internationally while you're waiting. Okay, we have covered a ton of ground here. That lifeline of maintained status, the different permit paths, all those critical warnings. So what's the one thing you really need to take away from all of this? It's this. This whole process is about keeping your life moving forward without interruption. It's about protecting everything you've built here. And procrastination, well, it's your absolute worst enemy. So the question I'll leave you with is, what's your plan for that date on your calendar? Because having a clear strategy is the only way you're going to beat that ticking clock.